Good morning. Let's talk about delegation in our morning lesson for this daily digest. Exodus 18:13 to the end. And so we have Moses, right? And his father-in-law's come to visit. They had a time of worship, of burnt sacrifice with the elders of Israel and Aaron and the whole crew. And now Moses, basically Jethro gets to watch Moses in his daily job, right? His 9 to 5, if you will, but it's longer than 9 to 5. It sounds like from morning to evening, the people stood by Moses, and basically Moses would sit alone, and all the people stand by him from morning to evening with their problems to inquire of God or to set a judgment right, right? Um, his job here is judging. It's court like. It's a magisterial sort of duty that he's filling out here. You know, he's teaching the statutes of God and his laws. Um, and Jethro's like, no, 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 no. You'll kill yourself. Well, it's not what he says. You'll wear away, right? Both you and the people that's with you, because there's people waiting around with their cases and concerns with one guy for all the people to deal with, and they may never get to hear their case until the next day, right? And they've lost a day of work. You see how inconvenient that would be. It's like DMV times 1,000. And what needs to happen, um, and of course Moses is going to wear out too with all that work. What needs to happen, Jethro says, is delegation or subsidiarity. Um, and God's going to bless this. Be thou for the people to Godward, and thou mayest bring the causes unto God. Right. So your big thing is actually to be the mediator between the people and God. And if there's like a big people-wide thing in terms of you do teach all the people the ordinances and laws and show them the way in where they must walk, not individually, case by case. And then choose able men who fear God, who hate covetousness, who love the truth, and place them over, right? And there's thousands, hundreds, fifties, tens, right? These groups, smaller and smaller. So kind of a federal structure, not even federal, a hierarchical subsidiarity, smaller groups, right? And it only goes to a certain level. Some cases only need to be handled on this level. Sometimes it's a bigger deal. It goes up higher, on and on and on. And you think about it, this is as enormous, enormous impact on even our life today. Um, and if you're in Christendom or any place touched by the Bible, and other places also have it as well because it's a general wisdom. It's delegated authority, ascending authority. Not everything goes to what we might call the international or national level, right? It's just unwieldy. Some things are more local and need to be judged on that level. Um, the hard cases are all that's left for Moses, kind of like we do with the Supreme Court. But small matters, these rulers judge for themselves. And then Jethro departs and goes away into his own land, and we don't really hear from him again. But it's kind of amazing, right? What an amazing help that was for Moses and for the people. Hebrews is talking more about Melchizedek, king of Salem, Jerusalem. It's assumed that he is in Jerusalem, but Melchizedek, king of Salem, he's a priest and a king, right? Priest king, the imagery there, right? And Abraham went out to war with some of his men armed and to rescue Lot, and he slaughtered these kings, right? This dude, Abraham was serious, right? Um, he had the ability. His household was such that he could even prosecute a war. And then he achieves victory, and then Melchizedek goes out to Abraham and blesses him, and then Abraham gives a tithe, the 10th part. Um, First being by interpretation king of righteousness, and afterward also king of Salem, which is king of peace. So you have righteousness and peace, and the king of that. Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of God, abideth a priest continually. So Melchizedek just kind of shows up. He doesn't have any lineage. He doesn't have any descent, it would seem, and how it functions in the Bible. and he is this stand-in for Jesus Christ, this foretelling, this foreshadowing of Jesus. Um, is it a Christophany? So that's another question we can deal with. Is this a pre-incarnate appearing of Jesus, or is it just a guy who was like Jesus? Um, but this is a great man, and God, and when Abraham gives him a tenth, it's a sign of obeisance of, you are higher than me, you are worth these spoils, and I offer them. It's an offering given to someone in a higher place. So if that's the case, if the priesthood of Melchizedek receives homage from Abraham, and also therefore all that is in Abraham also gives homage, right? Abraham's the highest of his family, right? He's the oldest, he's the forefather of it all. And if he gives homage, then everyone who's a descendant of Abraham also gives homage, and that includes Levi and Levi's tribe, including Aaron and all the priests. So the Levitical priesthood gives homage and obeisance to the Melchizedekian one. Like Melchizedek's priests order of priesthood is higher than the Levites. That's the argument made here. How is Jesus able to be a priest when he's actually of the tribe of Judah? Well, Jesus's priesthood isn't of the tribe of Levi. It's of the order of Melchizedek, not the order of Levi. Levitical priesthood, and that's what the point is. How is Jesus better than what came before? How is he? And by what came before, right? Actually, Melchizedek's older than Levi. But when I'm saying what came before, in terms of these people receiving this letter had been used to a Levitical priesthood. They've been used to, in a sense, a newer way of doing things. And now we're bringing to a deeper, more ancient, but also eternal forward thinking too, bigger, higher level of things that God's up to in Jesus Christ. And again, if Abraham paid tithes, Levi paid tithes also. And because this is in the loins of his father, Levitical priesthood. And so if you have a priest of Melchizedek, you don't need a priest of Levi. And it's been superseded in many ways. And that's actually kind of the point. Jesus is better than the old covenant. And that's a good thing. And again, this is a Hebrew audience, and so they need to be reminded that even as they're tempted to come back to uh, or just accept a Christ rejecting way, one that leaves out Jesus even though he showed up. And that's not what, and obviously that would be a terrible thing. And this letter encourages to make the wise choice and go with Melchizedek rather than just Levi. So that's actually really practical in the sense of Jesus is our high priest, right? He's of the highest thing. He's better than anything that can be offered. And that's good news.